is over, my friends. Yes, because Nintendo Switch 2 rumors are all over the place. They're leaking, they're out of control, and we're gonna get into just the newest ones, including, will the Nintendo Switch 2 have 3 times the RAM? Will it have 10 times the teraflops? We're gonna get into that. Also, is Nintendo about to drop another Nintendo Direct presentation in the next 48 hours? Well, a reliable leaker suggests that is indeed the case. We're going to get into that also. But before we do, if you like the content, you like what you see, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, and that bell helps us out. And then pull up a chair right there as we get into today's first story, which has to be the Nintendo Switch 2 latest rumors. Let's get into it. So, of course, last week was indeed Gamescom, and now we've heard reports that Nintendo used that opportunity to wow developers with what its next console, the Nintendo Switch 2, is able to do. Seemingly, it says that Nintendo did indeed show a demo of Breath of the Wild running 60 frames per second at 4K and with no loading whatsoever. Loading eliminated. On top of this, they also showed the rather impressive Matrix Unreal 5 engine demo that was shown on the PS5 a couple of years ago, running on Nintendo's new machine with ray tracing included. And reports suggested that it looked very much like the PS5 version, identical, some said, I believe. But with everything, caution is advised, because as we look deeper into these things, we have to be a little bit realistic. Firstly, the demo shown to developers was not final tech. No, it was shown on targeted specs. So on hardware targeting what they hope to be the final specs. So not the final or the finished article indeed. That's the first thing to take into account. Secondly, regarding the Matrix Unreal 5 engine demo running on the Switch 2, this was said to have been done using NVIDIA's DLSS 3.5, which was how it was able to include ray tracing in a demo and how it was able to bump up the performance and visuals to bring it into visual parity with the PS5 version of the demo. Very exciting stuff indeed, but it's also very important to note, because this means in all likelihood Nintendo is not about to go toe-to-toe with brute force and specs power with the PS5 or the Xbox Series 1 X. It will indeed be relying heavily on NVIDIA's AI upscaling software to bring its games into parity with current gen games that way. But the news coming out of Gamescom regarding the Switch 2 did not stop there. No, because over on Nate the Hates podcast, which is linked in the description below, he spoke a lot about the chatter he heard coming out of Gamescom regarding a possible release date for the Nintendo Switch 2, and that was the month of March. Now, what wasn't clear was whether in fact it was a date touted as that for the release of the console, or a possible date for the unveiling of the console, which I believe to be the much more likely of the two. I believe March is way too soon, seeing as we haven't heard a single thing from Nintendo regarding the console. But I can definitely see it as a day after the holiday season Nintendo chooses to show us the machine for the first time. Nonetheless, very exciting wherever it happens to be, and because it's not that long to wait. So, but let me know in the comments what you believe. Do you believe Nintendo would release it that soon, or is it more likely for it to be a date that they decide to unveil it to us for the first time? Let me know in the comments. But that's not all regarding the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. No, because there's been further reports talking about the amount of RAM in the machine and which chip is going to be powering the machine. So firstly, let's talk about the RAM. Further reports this week have put the amount of RAM the Switch 2 will have at 12 gigabytes of RAM, 3 times more than the original Switch has right now. This is a very curious number, and I'll tell you for why. That would put it 2 gigs of RAM above something like the Xbox Series S, which makes me think, I don't know if I believe this rumor, because I just don't think Nintendo's going to go toe-to-toe with even the Xbox Series S, though it would put it at 4 gigs of RAM less than something like the Steam Deck. But if we move over to the rumored chip that's going to be powering the Switch 2, this is very interesting, because more reports, this came out about a year ago, but has since resurfaced. More reports have come out saying that the chip powering the Switch 2 is going to be NVIDIA's very own T239, which is vastly more powerful than the current Tegra X1, which of course is at 9 years old at this point. But if we look at a quick comparison, we can see that the new chip would have 2048 CUDA cores compared to the Tegra X1's 256 shader cores. And more interesting than that, the new chip would have up to 4 teraflops of raw power which is 10 times more than the original Switch. This again would put it on par with the same teraflops as found in the Xbox Series S. So, and again, I don't know if I believe that. I just don't believe it's going to go toe to toe. If we look at, for example, the Steam Deck again, that has 1.6 teraflops, which puts it at the level of a base PS4, which I see as way more realistic for what the Switch 2 might go for, especially if it's going to be using NVIDIA's DLSS to bump up performance and visual fidelity anyways. But nonetheless, this is incredibly exciting, but we have to have caution, because if we look back and we think back to when the Switch, before the Switch was announced, there was so many rumors regarding what kind of chip was going to be powering it. People back then put it at a base PS4 even then, and then it was nothing like that. So we have to take a lot of caution when believing these rumors. But what do you think? Do you think Nintendo is going to have 4 teraflops of power? Do you think they're going to have 3 times the RAM? Or do you think they're going to be somewhere in between and really rely on DLSS? Let me know in the comments. Right then, next story. We could be less than 48 hours away from another Nintendo Direct presentation. That's if we believe reliable leakers Nate the Hate and Pyoro, who for their part claim this could be the week it happens, placing September the 13th and 14th as the dates it could drop. Very exciting indeed. For his part, Pyoro has hinted very heavily at the return of F-Zero. Some fans have speculated it could be a remaster of F-Zero GX from the GameCube. He has said just a simple no to this. Interestingly enough, F-Zero GX's producer back in the day has been talking about the game recently, quite often actually, claiming that he loves the game, he loved working on it, that he would love a new game in the series to be revealed and to work on it. Interestingly enough, even more, is that he owns his own development company now, and when asked if that would make it easier to align itself with Nintendo and release an F-Zero game, he laughed and said you'd have to ask Nintendo. But I wonder if the fact that he's been talking more and more about F-Zero is because he knows there's something in the pipeline. We shall wait and see though. Furthermore than that, more games have been hinted to appear by Pyoro, who claims they're another Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the cute little puzzle type Lemmings game, will be making an appearance. He claims that there will be Wii and DS remakes being shown, the two being connected. Some think the puzzle game Another Code is the game that he's talking about. He hasn't specified. On top of that, it's rumored that the Peach game will be shown again. For my part, I assume Mario RPG might be shown. I don't know if Mario Wonder will be shown again, but what do we think else will be shown? Of course, the usual suspects are being spoken about. Is Metroid Prime 4 finally going to be shown at this presentation? Will it be the one more thing announcement? It has to come soon. It has to come soon. Whether this will be it or not, we'll have to wait and see. But what do you guys think? Do you believe? It seems very possible that this will be the week a Direct does drop. So what do you think will be shown at it? Let me know in the chat. Right, that is the news for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like I said before, hit that like, subscribe, and that bell. And until then, my good friends, I will be back tomorrow with more Nintendo news. Have yourself an awesome day. And until tomorrow, have an awesome one, my friends. Bye.